Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Jobless Weebs, number 126.
Yeah.
With us, of course, today is myself, Brian, and also
Fat man. Batman. The people are Mexican.
you cannot
I mean,
miss.
I cannot deny it. I have thick bones.
Oh yes,
and
that's right.
more than thick bones. How are you, Brian?
Doing pretty good. I've been sleeping in sometimes this past week, so feels okay, but sometimes not.
I don't see you with bags.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous, to be honest.
Yep.
This last week, I was like, I'm gonna go to bed early, so I can, wake up no problem. And no, it seems that nighttime Marco, it's just like screw that guy in the morning.
Oh no! And you just keep going. Oh man. Yeah.
But,
it's tough. It's tough. I've been getting back into pixel art just a little bit.
Oh, nice.
I just love that type of art style, and I'm trying to dabble in it a little bit more myself. This week we have a treat for all of our anime fans. We're going back to one of our favorites back when it was airing. We were like, this is a hidden gem,
It is, and
it was, yeah. So now we're gonna revisit the second season of Ranking the Kings.
Yeah. Oh boy, I was so. Part of me was disappointed.
Really? In the second season?
Yeah, because.
Okay.
I just thought that episode 1 to 9 should have been OVAs, or special episodes, extra episodes.
I see.
Because the actual story it's on episode 10
onwards.
It's right after.
Right, that's the end episode. Yeah, for the season.
Yeah, right after Boji decides I'm gonna go on a journey and I'm gonna become king of my own kingdom. I'm gonna build it from scratch. Episode 10, it's the actual, what comes next after season 1.
I agree.
I'm not saying that they were bad episodes, because they were great, and a few of them made me tear up a little bit.
Right.
I'm just saying that.
But they were more filler.
They were more filler. They didn't, grab on the momentum.
That's true.
And they should have been special episodes. Because if they would have released them as special episodes, you would have been like, oh, right, because this episode goes on this flashback from episode such and such.
Yeah.
This is actually like
between
prequel story or between these episodes.
Right. And that would have worked as specials because they were very much to themselves type of thing.
Yeah, there were short stories, and as an anime fan, that I like the fact that animes have continuity. A lot of times I hate when they just put you a filler just because it's like, oh, we needed to put something. And we didn't know what to, and this is a good episode. Again, I'm not reeling on the episodes because they were an excellent part of the story. I'm just saying that it did not give, it just didn't keep the momentum of this story.
That's true.
Because we were like, oh boy, what's gonna happen with Boji? What's gonna happen with the world?
Yeah.
And then it's like, here's some more information about the world. Which it's appreciated. You get a lot more insight of what the ranking of kings world is, but oh boy, it was. I don't know. I just feel a little, with mixed feelings of I liked it, but I didn't like it because of that.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree because the delivery of the first season was all very much, just straight to the point and really like it really nailed the point of there is a system, there's a set story, there's a hero, and of course a lot of villains, but a lot of bad guys that kind of like turn over their real character. But yeah, it was very straightforward, very hard hitting, amazing plot. But yeah, the second season, it kind of just goes away from that in a whole different direction. Yeah,
And that was the other
true.
thing,
That's true.
because it was only 10 episodes, so it kind of felt like something was missing, something was not delivered as intended, and I was like, man. But I mean, we can go through each of the episodes, because there are a few of the episodes that I do want to talk about that they did contribute a lot to the actual, I guess, the background of the world.
Yeah, and the story that we already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, for those of you who don't remember, or if you haven't watched it, be aware that there are going to be some spoilers from season 1.
Oh yes, there will be definitely.
And yeah, but if you want to watch season 1 along with season 2, I mean, definitely I guess that'll be a great experience.
Yeah, definitely doable. If you like alternate, that could be something. As long as you keep episode 10 after everything.
Right. Yeah.
Of first season. Yeah. But yeah, I would say it would be more enjoyable coinciding with the first season. You see a few episodes, then you jump to maybe the second season and do that. Yeah, it was much more of a, I would say, like, peek into the characters' lives that maybe we wouldn't have seen in otherwise, or in the first season. I still as yet need to read the manga myself. I don't think. Or
I only read pretty much just a little after he left.
Okay.
And the thing with Oaken happens.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, that's how far I read.
I definitely have some highlights. I took some notes.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, So yeah, it started out, and I was pretty surprised that it was not starting where we thought it would. From the first season, it's a huge setup of him going out, trying to establish his own kingdom. We're put into the Ranking King's world, but it's like another side. I like where we see a little bit more of him traveling with the knights, and the knights are just doing their own thing, but
yeah, I mean,
they're
again,
scared of like this
that's the thing.
Episode
1, 2, and I believe 3
and 3
are all about
1, 2, and 3.
Boji's story before, like during, like his training arc.
Yes, with Despa.
With Prince Vespa.
Yep.
In the underworld. And when he was just beginning his training, also when he's on his way to the kingdom of Bose.
Yeah.
To fake his brother. And also episode 3, it's a flashback of when he was a kid with King Daida, and how King Daida first awakened his healing powers from his mom, Queen Healing.
Oh yes. we did mention that Queen Healing. So funny. But yeah, huge fan of Queen Healing. But yeah, it was really touching how he is able to stick up for his brother, and show his brother maybe something that his brother doesn't really see anywhere else. And Daida, he's willing to put in so much effort in like trying to help Boji, just for Boji being Boji. Like his nature brings out the best of people, and that's probably what this second season was really hammering in, kind of like the courageous and the friendship aspect of this world. But yeah, I think Queen Healing, she saved like a little bird from like being attacked by a hawk. She heals it, and Daida, he really really wants to like be like that, and so he says like, "Hey, you gotta teach me." And Queen Healing tells him, "Yeah, you can do it as long as you really want to heal. Like focus on that emotion of wanting to heal. That desire will basically bring it about." Uh, great one. I really liked that one. I think these ones kind of set the tone for the season. These first 3 episodes sets the tone of looking like at a small part of Bochi's life, but again, kind of like that courageous type of theme, of sticking up for yourself and sticking up, well, more for others, I would say.
The first 3 episodes are pretty wholesome.
Yes.
For the most of it. Episode 3 is also the one where Queen Healing it's facing the bandits, because she's trying to recruit this female knight that used to be part of the Big Four. But yeah, other than that, it was Kage's errand for the this really exotic mushroom.
Oh yeah, the shutter cat.
Man, also on first episode, I almost forgot. When they're trying to earn money, because Best Buy is telling them like it's like, you need to give me money. So you need to go earn money. And you know how they were trying all these different jobs, but because Boji is deaf,
right,
he couldn't perform a lot of jobs. So they were like, oh, let's put a stall on the street and like let's charge for people if they try to hit you, and if they hit you, which they will never, then we will give them 100 gold coins. And everyone was there just
trying to
hit him, and then there was this poor girl, and it's like, oh boy, you guys are not doing it, are you guys doing it? And how Boji was like,
Boji was like, you gotta be,
and that was really one of the other things, because Boji, he's a really nice kid. He's like a good-natured kid, and Kage, it's
a shady, more shady, but more like worldly, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he has knowledge of the streets, and he knows how living in the streets is. So for Boji, who basically had everything handed to him, or kind of like in a silver spoon.
Yeah,
Kage was scraping by. So that's why she was like telling the little kid, like, don't try it. It's like poor people shouldn't gamble. And it's like, I mean, it sounds bad, but it's true. And after the little girl loses the bet because she couldn't even get close to Boji.
Yep.
They went to her house. They see that indeed she was really poor. The mother was sick, and they were having the guilt trip of like, oh boy, like we should have helped her. And I really like what King Vespa said, because he's like, what, do you think I only care about money? It's like, yes. It's like, you're wrong. I'm gonna invest in this little girl, and they're like, it's that kind of theme that was set for this for this season. That was just like how
it broadens the character.
Yeah, it's like,
Boji,
this
but a
world
lot
is
of
pretty
others
crappy,
too.
but at the
Uh-huh.
same time, there are some key people that would help, and especially Vespa, because Vespa,
Ooh,
his
yes.
power is pretty much unlocking the potential
Of
of
others.
others, not
Yeah.
only physically but in other aspects as well.
Uh-huh.
And you know
And
how
he's
how
incredible
how
at that.
Vespa is. He might be a bit of a jerk,
Yeah.
because he do cares about money, and we do see that in several episodes this season.
Definitely, definitely.
But he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna invest in this girl, and she's gonna
Yeah, she's gonna
learn. She's
learn.
gonna
She's
get
gonna
skills,
uh-huh.
and once she gets skills, I'm gonna cash in the money, baby.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And it's incredible because it's like for him, we see that for him and it kind of transforms him into a person who thinks of the long term and thinks of money as a tool, which it just blew
which,
my
yeah,
mind. It was
it's kind of greedy,
incredible.
but it's like, I mean, this man has a point. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what he values, so he is able to like
I mean,
change the world
just
in his
imagine
way.
if like politics would think about that.
Oh
Like,
no.
let's
Oh
invest in
wow.
education, and then we will cash in the money in the future. But
Right. No,
no. Anyway,
we have to
but
pay. Yeah.
but
Pay for
anyways, on
education.
episode 4,
Uh-huh.
we get the background story of the three brothers from the
Yes.
underworld.
Uh-huh. And
King Desha,
King. Uh-huh.
that
Desha.
time, Prince Desha,
Yeah.
Prince Vespa,
Yep.
and Prince
Desha.
Oaken.
Despen. Okay. Mm-hmm.
We get the
And
story. It was like, man,
yeah. And
King Saturn was so sick. Like,
he was.
and
He
I'm and
sure
I'm trying
was.
to use really nice words.
Oh yes, yes. He was so sick that he would use. Well, this is this is gonna sound a little bit odd, but it's kind of similar to Bochi's dad. But what he does is what he did was
Oh, that's right, isn't it?
interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
There,
I had
there's
not
a
let that
couple.
sink in.
Yeah,
But
there's a
now that
couple
you mention
themes.
it,
Yeah, there are a couple themes that we can connect here. But what he's doing is he's basically like he has a deal to basically figure out immortality, but in the way of like making his kids somehow come out as like immortal and such. Uh, but we see him, and it's like he's there at the birth of his third son, Oaken,
okay.
and he's like really maniacal. He's really
Yeah,
evil.
he's like,
We're like,
finally,
whoa,
and you can
who
see
is this
Desha
guy?
like this, like, what is this jerk planning on?
Mm-hmm.
And it was also interesting because I try to make the comparison to, I guess, the three gods of Olympus against
Okay.
Cronus.
Yes. Okay. Well, case in point, Saturn, very similar name.
And like Zeus controls lightning, and King Desha also controls lightning, and it's the story. The story just unfolds as to there was a point in time way in the future where the three princes wage war against his father.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
very much like Greek
and it was just said
mythology.
that his father was a tyrant, and he was doing a lot of Nazi stuff, and so they wanted to stop that, to the point that Desha was also doing some pretty nasty stuff.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it was like these three brothers together, but then King Prince Vespa, he was like, yeah, you know what, I don't agree with your method of doing things, so peace out, brother. He was like, and Oaken was the only one who stood with Desha.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you know what, Nichan, like, I'm gonna be you're to do a man, or
yes, man.
you're yes man.
Yeah, I'll be your.
He's like,
yes,
yeah,
man.
it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
well, like I know that you have other plans. Like, you're like looking for all of us, and you deem necessary to do this. So you're like, I'm not gonna question it. Like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is that these three brothers have all powers. Kindesha
Yeah.
has lightning. Kim Vespa has the power of swordsmanship, but he's really weak. But he also has the power to unlock the potential of others.
Yes. Yeah.
And Prince Oaken, he doesn't have anything.
Doesn't have anything. Yeah, and that's the key point. Oh, dude. So they wage wars against the goblins, basically. And Oaken is there, and he's fighting, and he's like noticing some things about himself, and it gets to the point where he comes back to Desha. I think he comes to Desha.
Yeah. You were jumping
skipping?
a little. Yeah.
Okay.
They do confront the dad.
They do.
King
yeah.
Saturn.
Yes.
They beat him. King Saturn shadow tries to possess
Oaken.
He repels it. He is destroyed.
Right.
And Desha is the new king, and peace
and
is...
things are doing great. Desha, he kind of looks like the dad, but he's like doing things in a okay way. Yeah, and it was super creepy. It's a good thing you brought it up, because that shadow was trying to possess Oaken, and so it literally went inside Oaken, and then Oaken was like not having it, so he somehow like repelled him out, and but we kind of get the idea that he was trying to possess him. And then when Oaken is fighting, he notices something, comes back to Desha, and cuts himself like really, really bad.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, this is a curse. Like I need help, basically.
Yeah, because he was like, yeah, I was happy,
right?
Because like, I'm not getting hurt. Like,
right.
basically, I'm like the ultimate soldier.
He can.
But
like,
then he's starting to
fight.
lose himself, because if he just says like, hey, ignore the pain, then like, that's it. You're like the ultimate soldier. Like, no pain, don't die, like no injuries whatsoever, like no hunger, probably.
And no hunger. Yeah, you can't get sick.
And so then Desha connects, like, oh, so that's why father was doing that. And Vespa was like, oh, I was taking a look at father's dungeon, and I found all of these messed up stuff. All of his experiments of no aging, remaining immortal. And the only way to break this curse, or one of the ways to break this curse, is with the head of a demon. Which, on the first season, we were introduced to the demons, that they were capable of granting wishes.
Yes.
With a price. That came with a price. And in this second season, we'll also have an episode with the demon that it was a bit bittersweet, because it was like it was really wholesome, but I was like, oh man, I know what's gonna happen next. And,
right.
But okay, we're giving all of this story. Oaken's situation goes out of hand to the point where it's the Oaken that we were introduced to on season 1, and he just starts hallucinating his father, and from there he's just going bonkers.
Berserk. Yeah. Yep. And we get to the point where they know that he is not really like Oaken anymore. He loses his humanity, but as you said, he becomes that Oaken that we knew. I'm pretty sure that episode showed that Desha was trying to fix him and try to like give him the help he needed. But at this point of the series, we don't get like a continuation of that.
Yeah,
as we said,
they just immobilized him. They
Yeah.
imprisoned him.
That's right. Yeah. And so the continuation of that we'll see later on in episode 10.
But it was
But
kind of
yeah,
sad
it's that
because
setup.
like Desha went to great lengths to set a lot of his father's screw ups
Yeah.
right, and it was a bit impactful how he was looking at Oaken's cell after he had immobilized him, and he was just like
Ooh.
crying, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, he's like, those are manly
Dude.
tears, but it's like, man,
Yeah.
poor guy, because he
Shed a
did care
tear.
about his brothers.
He sure does. Yeah. You could almost say all his motivations were to help his brothers.
Yeah, like King Desha is a great king.
He
man.
is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. We also have the story of his second in command from Oaken. That story is also really good. Probably we're not going to cover it, but it's the story of the second in command, how he tries to find a way of the demon's location, and then he is spared by King Desha because King Desha has apparently already executed him. So it's like, okay, yeah, you see, Desha is not a jerk. Desha is a good guy. It's like,
I know, right? We have a little aside with White King, the horse. That was hilarious. So when I got to that point, I was like, yeah, a lot of this could have been in those specials, in the OVAs, or like the fillers type stuff. Still very funny. Then we do get introduced. Yeah, so silly.
Because she's female, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I love how the knights were like, oh, you're putting some weight. I'm like, oh yeah, but not as much as White King. And the captain is like, I forgot about the horse.
Oh yeah. Wow. So great.
I mean that was it was a good episode for like all this tension of Oaken and the three brothers, and it was like, oh boy, this thing is rough, and then you see a fat horse, and it's like, oh, just like its owner.
Oh yes.
The next episode, it's an episode where Boji is the king before he decides to go on a journey. So really close to the last episode of season 1.
Yeah.
And it's it's him being a kid and a good king.
Yeah. He goes around. He goes to town with Babin, and they have like some misadventures. And then they also try to find like a bird that's lost, which I thought that was kind of funny because everybody was trying to whistle, but they couldn't really whistle, and I thought that was hilarious because Boji was trying to whistle too, but he's deaf. And I was trying to think to myself. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't whistle unless you really know what's going to produce it. I thought that was an interesting episode. How we have this character who's deaf, but we have so much of the story where it's all about sound, like the bird whistling, and that's all about sound. And I was like, wow, this is great storytelling, which could probably like mean something really really deep, but it was just
right.
It was there and it was something.
There's an episode of where King Daida. There's 2 episodes with King Daida.
There are.
One of them when he's getting the notice that the judge from the ranking of kings coming to give him his ranking, and he gathers the grade four and asks them to train him, and all the grade four are like, wait, is this the same King Daida that?
Yeah.
And you know, because they see the change in King Daida, and even King Daida is like, yeah, you know what, I want to be like my brother.
Yeah.
Like as good as a king as my brother. You know, even though freaking Boji was like a king for probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, not very long. Right. But yeah, King Daida, he's like, I want to be like my brother. Yeah.
But you know, his mindset, his heart was on the right place now.
Yeah.
And there's another episode that I really liked, where it's about him and Miranjo redeeming themselves, because you know, like at the end of season 1, they were like, oh no, yeah, we gotta atone for what we've done to my brother, to the kingdom, to everyone, and you know, they were thinking, or at least I was thinking, like, yeah, you know, maybe they want to do something big, something really emblematic, just to earn like the trust of people. But no, it was not the case. King Daida was like, yeah, you know what, let's continue with the demolition of the barracks so people can have work and people can have food. And then he helped the people, and then it was Miranjo like being a teacher and teaching kids sign language, how to read, and you know,
it was incredible.
And like, yeah, that was it. It was like, yeah, you don't need to do a lot to redeem yourselves. Like if you have done something crappy, like if you want to like, you know, atone for whatever you're doing, is like, yeah, just don't do anything bad anymore. Just be a nice person.
Exactly.
Because like that was it. You know, it was one of the good traits of Boji, that Boji was like, hey, are you doing good now? Yeah, I like you now. Good.
Yeah, Boji is so cool. Yeah, seriously, and it is that simple. Like, I think that's why his friendship is with Kage is so deep, because he recognizes the bad of people. He's street smart, but he also sees how good Boji is just for being Boji.
What else? Like, what other episodes did you like?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we do see a demon in one of the episodes where Miranjo is
when they were kids. That's right.
Miranjo's kid she's a kid. She's going exploring, and she sees like a puppy statue rock. That was funny. But yeah, she sees this demon, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna say hello, and like I'm gonna find out what's going on," type of stuff. But like we see, the demon is eating a corpse, and it's like, whoa, that's freaky. She
doesn't pay attention to that.
She doesn't pay attention to that. Yeah. She's still very much a child, but she has this exploration of the forest with this demon, and yeah, it's just really very, very warm-hearted.
Yeah, I was waiting for something bad to happen. I was so glad when it was like, okay, no, it was just them like having fun as kids. We were introduced to how the cute little demons turn into the abominations.
Right.
And it's because when they perform a contract, you know, and this is important for episode 10.
For episode 10, yes, exactly.
But yeah, like after Miranjo's, we also have Bibin.
Oh yes,
training.
Oh yes,
how he was training. Like one of the worst.
Yeah,
and went to,
even though he put in so much effort, he kept getting like manhandled by the other 4. But yeah, he trains with Despa, which I thought was really cool, because Despa, he can train
and again, Vespa is like, it's not enough money. They're like, don't worry, I see your potential. I'll be like,
true.
I'll be getting some royalties after this.
That's right.
And how he was like, yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter how hard things are. You'll fix everything with a smile. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And Vivian's like,
it's that he tries. It doesn't work.
Faces. Oh,
For some reason, he thought it was important. One thing about how we were mentioning Miranjo being super innocent with very childlike, and with the demon, it's like what you were saying, how you were expecting something bad. Well, I was thinking of Puella Magica, the oh my gosh, the infamous. Well, anyway, that's why I have a hard time watching Magical Girls, because I get reminded of that.
Every magical girl anime just betrays my expectation. Like the most recent one, I think it awakened something inside me, Brian.
Oh no, yeah, we can't even mention that one. Not that one.
We will not talk about that one ever.
Oh man,
this is a PG podcast. So, but anyways,
but yes, we're pretty much at episode 9 and 10.
Yeah, and episode 9, the second part is actually Prince Boji giving away treasures to everyone before going on a journey.
Yeah,
he gives Vivian a skin, the molten skin.
Molten skin.
Goes with the giant snake. Gives the giant snake a mirror that apparently that mirror was used to help the snake to learn how to talk.
He gives
some dolls, some rag dolls.
Oh yes, those ones.
The one that I liked the best was I forgot his name. Ah, crap.
Was it the cricket?
The
molt cricket?
The Domas.
Yeah. Oh yes, yes,
Domas. Because you know how Domas was training with Hokuro.
Yes.
They were like, it's like you gotta put your life on the line, and then Boji was like, yeah, and like, Prince Boji, how are you? He's like, and Hokuro was like,
oh right. He was like, oh crap, but
Thomas was like, what can I do for you, Prince Boji? I was like, what the heck? And when Boji was like showing them like the cicadas, also molten skin, Thomas was like, no, like you're giving me that, but that's your treasure.
And he's like super crying, and he's like really emotional. Really, really great.
He's giving treasures to everyone, to his mom, and to Dorshe. Dorshe and Queen Healing.
They definitely have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he goes.
Also, I was thinking the title of the anime. This really shows the treasure.
The treasure chest of courage, right?
Treasure chest of courage, yeah. He's giving away his most treasured possessions to others since he's gonna be leaving.
Yeah.
Really heartwarming.
And now to talk about the real season 2.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Boy. So
strap down.
So for those of you who don't remember, at the end of season 1, King Desha was appointed as the number 1 ranking.
Yes. And which is basically he's the strongest king out of all the kingdoms.
Yeah, and as part of, the perks of being the number 1 king, he's allowed to go inside the treasure vault, which, we don't know a lot about the treasure vaults. The only thing that we know is that the kings were battling the gods.
Yeah.
And now there are just a bunch of trinkets in there. A lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones. Maybe cursed, maybe don't. We don't know.
Oh yes.
But he's walking with the judge, and he only wants one thing that we already know what it is.
Exactly.
He wants to cure Oaken from the immortality curse. He's presented a baby demon. Or I guess a toddler demon.
Toddler demon. And he's like kind of appalled at this, but the judge type guy, he's like, oh, don't worry, that's just the form it is now, something like that. I was really weirded out about that. And this is the choice Desha has to make, King Desha, to have his wish granted, but of course it's the contract that has to be made for him to get his wish, basically. We pan over to Oaken and Despa, and like the captain of the knights. They're out, and
they're out in the lake, right?
They're out by the lake
because they're trying to find
Oaken. Yes. Yep. And so they have like this sort of magic, I guess you could call it, where they can communicate with each other, like just by holding their hands like this, Desha and Despa, which I thought was really cool. But they're talking with each other, and he's like, wait, not now. We're like trying to find the head right now. Like, don't do it now. It's like, what? Very, very funny. But they know they have to get it like right now because Desha is already there in the vault. I thought this part was really, really odd. How it's like one part we have this weird comic thing, but over here it's really, really like serious. Really,
yeah.
Really messed up. They get the head.
I mean, they did.
The giant catfish and but yeah, they're good. Desha is told, Oaken is like in one piece now.
Yeah, and Desha does the thing. And Oaken still can like a little out of it. It's eating rotten meat from like a corpse in there, he's like, no. Like when he gets back to it, he's like he won't be able to eat that because now he's human back again, and that part is like Oaken just like takes his helmet and he's like, Vespa, what happened? And it was that part where Vespa was like, we did it, brother, we did it. Right. And then in this kind of like telepathic communication, Desha is like, and he disappears. And he's like, oh boy. He's like, okay, Desha?
He doesn't get any response.
And like it's still this happy reunion. Where Vespa tells Oaken like, Oaken, you son of a gun, like you were crazy and you were not doing like any of my techniques. How dare you? You were
I taught
bringing
you, and
shame to my name.
This is the shame you bring. It's so funny.
He's like, you were a savage. And he's like, couldn't it have killed you a little bit to use any of my techniques? But
you're making me look bad.
But now, and okay, these are really big spoilers.
Yes.
That I guess we won't cover.
They are.
But in search for Desha, Oaken goes to the vault of treasures. And let's ignore all of that.
Yep.
And when he goes out, I love this part because Oaken found one of the kings that was said to be one of the worst kings. And I really love this part because they had me for a second. Because like Oaken was remembering the words from Desha. It's like, if you find this king, it's like, just run. And Oaken literally pissed himself. Like he wet his pants, and the king was like, pathetic. And then like Oaken was like, he's like,
and it was super fast.
Pathetic.
Too.
He's like, whoa, okay, like you have no chill. Like for a second, I thought that he was returning to his berserk mode.
Okay, well, because it was such a 180 to what he was acting like, being super scared, witless, basically. But yeah, it was the secret to meeting one of these powerful people. It was so cool when they explained it. It was like misrepresent yourself until they don't expect anything. They let their guard down. Then
yeah, I was like, whoa, freaking Oaken. It's like,
yeah. Oh man, it's a must see.
It's like berserk or not, freaking Oaken. Beware of him.
Oh right, it's like there's no difference. Well, yeah, incredible.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, King Desha is lost, and it seems that there was a price to pay to cure Oaken, and it was that he was to forget everything. So not remember who was king, and that is another one of the kind of funny things of this world, because it's like, there's always a time for like a number one king, and then they decide to go into the ball, but something happens with the king every time, because either greed consumes them,
right,
or something else, and like that's why there's always like a new
vacancy.
Number one, and it's like, wow, this is so messed up,
right? And the thing was, Desha was even warned, like he even knew intellectually, like I'm not gonna like go into my greed or whatever. I know exactly what I want when I get in there. But yeah, that I really want to see a season 3 and delve deep in this a little bit more and see Boji get his own kingdom. But I don't know if we'll ever get that. Oh man.
But yeah,
incredible though.
Like that was the thing, because it was like episode 10, and they drop a lot of info.
They do
with you, and like Boji and Kage, they pause right in front of Desha, and like, hey, that looks like King Desha.
They seriously
like
pass.
Oh no, but no, that's not King Desha. It's like, no, it is King Desha.
It actually is. Yeah.
So yeah, like if there's gonna be like a third season for Ranking of Kings, that's gonna be great. But again, episode 1 to 9 should have been like special episodes. But it was good. It was good nonetheless. I really liked it.
It was fantastic. For 10 episodes, they really did incredible. Of course, the episode 10 was the highlight, the continuation of the story that we want. But yeah, it was fantastic.
I think there's gonna be a movie.
Oh, really?
I don't know when, but I think it was announced. A movie. So maybe we get to know a little more about the story.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah,
that'd be cool.
Definitely look forward to that. But great story again.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, that was just my veteran Weeb self. It was like those episodes should have been OVAs.
Right.
Oh yeah, I hope you guys like that. If you haven't watched that anime, you can find it on Crunchyroll.
Yep.
And Crunchyroll.
That's right.
And I mean, of course, there's other platforms, but
yes.
Crunchyroll is the legal one. So
it is the best one. Yeah. Definitely worth a watch. I really did.
All right, so yeah, see you next time for next episode. Matane.